You want to make YouTube videos, right? Lucky for you, I'm going to tell you 3 main things that you need to know for starting a channel on the cheap. I'm going to tell you right after I grab a drink, so let's go do that. Let's talk about YouTube videos. I can't tell you how many times I've been told, man, I kind of want to start a YouTube channel, but I don't really know what to start. Man, I want to start it, but I don't have a camera, I don't have the equipment to do it, and I don't even know what to get. Well, I'm going to try to help narrow that down for you in this here video. So there's 3 main components that I think you need when starting a YouTube channel. You need a camera, you need a microphone, and most importantly, you need a computer, but I'm going to tie computer and editing software together kind of in the same thing because that's where I think you're going to be doing the majority of your video work, on a computer. Obviously, the first component is the thing that you're seeing the video through, right? The camera. And if you don't have a camera, you're in luck because if you have a cell phone made in the past 10 years, you probably have a pretty decent camera in your pocket already. You see, the camera that we shot this little intro skit on and the B-roll for this video with was on my iPhone 11 here, and dating all the way back to high school using whatever iPhone or whatever Android camera I had at the time, I pretty much always used a phone camera for my videos, and I still do. While I go out and spend hundreds of dollars on a GoPro when I can get the same effect out of my iPhone camera. Yeah, when we did my dying light video, we didn't get a GoPro or anything. We just took my iPhone 11, strapped it to my chest, and I jumped over a dumpster with it, and surprisingly, held on with some Gorilla Tape pretty good. And there's plenty of other little moments that I use this camera with when I don't want to use my other camera, and it's always handy to just have this little camera in your pocket, and it's pretty decent. These things shoot like 4K 60 FPS now, so they're pretty versatile little cameras. This one also has a wide angle lens, so if you know what you're doing, you can actually get a good bit of use out of this thing. In fact, this thing has video stabilization in it that my $700 camera sitting on this tripod doesn't have. So it's actually easier in a lot of instances to shoot some scenes for things that we do on this camera than it would be to shoot on my main camera. Because with a normal camera, if you want to get good smooth video, you gotta have a gimbal, you gotta have this, that, and whatever. With this thing, you have everything you need right here, and it shoots pretty good quality video, and it's also still pretty compact, so I can do things like stick it in the fridge or stick it into tight little spaces or record in between little things on my desk that are a little easier to get to with this thing than it would be with my regular camera. Not to mention the microphone on this thing is still pretty decent. In fact, when I did some green screen video, I actually used this for the microphone. Although I do have like a little cheap $30 lapel mic now that should work, but we'll be testing that out a little bit later. Speaking of microphones, the one that you're seeing right now is a $30 microphone from Fifine. They actually include a whole kit that's a little under $50 right now, which is what I got in this package. It includes this nice mic arm, a shock mount, windscreen, and a pop filter that isn't currently hooked up, but you're getting a good bit of kit here for under $50, and it's pretty professionally packaged. I had some unboxing footage from like a month ago, and I lost that footage, so I don't have that. My main microphone is another USB microphone, the Yeti, which I love, and I've used it for years and beaten the hell out of it, and somehow it still works fine. Granted, you don't have all the features that you'd have on a Yeti. You're not going to be doing dual podcasting with this thing. You can't manually adjust the gain on the microphone. You have to do it within your program. You can't plug headphones directly into it, but that's not really a big deal. As you can see, I just need audio out of it, and it gives me that perfectly fine. I will say on this microphone, I noticed there's a little bit of a lack of treble on it. It seems a little more bassy or on the lower end, but in editing software or your audio recording program, I can pitch the gain up a little bit, which I'm going to do, and I still think it sounds pretty decent. Another good advantage of this over the Yeti is you can actually pick this up without the kit for, again, like under $30, and it comes with a little stand that the more expensive kit does come with. But it's also very lightweight. I could just mount this thing to whatever. I plan on using it on my sim racing rig here. And with this being such a low price point, you could just buy multiple of these things, right? If for some reason you need to buy a mic for your girlfriend or a mic for somebody else in your household and you want to shoot a podcast or something with them and they're in a different room, you just get 2 of these things and that'll get you set. Or more notably, in my use case instance, is if you just wanted a cheaper backup mic to have around whenever you needed it, I got it right here. I don't think it ever hurts to have a little USB mic in your arsenal, and I think this is a pretty good one, man. It's not perfect, but when you consider the extremely low price point, this is a pretty good option. Back when I was first starting to shoot videos, I think the only option that we had was like the Blue Yeti, and even that was like 50 or 60 bucks at the time. And this thing comes in well under that. But regardless of if you're just doing audio, just doing video, or you're wanting to put the two together and make a final product out of it, you're gonna need editing software. And to my shock, there's actually some really good options out there for free software. I use Vegas, and that's pretty expensive for what it is, to be honest, but it's a simple program and I like using it. Well, if you want the majority of the features of Vegas without paying the price tag of the full version of Vegas, they also have like a Vegas movie platinum studio thingy. I'm gonna put the title up here because I'm butchering it right now and I can't think of it, but it's kind of like an essentials package that just lets you do the basics. It's significantly cheaper than the full product, right? Like Vegas can cost hundreds of dollars, but I think essentials comes well under that. But that's just for my use case, right? You can also go the Adobe route and pay a subscription, which I personally don't like subscription services, or you could just say fuck it all together and go for free because there's DaVinci Resolve. And I really didn't know much about DaVinci Resolve before recording this video, but it offers like pretty much all the same features as Vegas and the other editing programs, and it's free. Wow. Dude, back in the day when I was first starting to do YouTube videos, I was using these really shoddy editing programs that I don't even remember the name of them, but they were just the most basic things to put your clip in and put some music behind, and you really couldn't do much with it. But DaVinci Resolve is a program that anybody could use regardless of your skill level. It has multi-track editing, so you can put your gameplay or your video and your audio together from your microphone. You can cut the video wherever you need it. You can crop in and out, add different effects to it and transitions and whatnot, and make like a solid product with it. I would have killed to have this thing 10 years ago, dude. Where was this at? This thing is sick. And when it comes to a computer, man, don't sweat it too much. I know the price of graphics cards and stuff are ridiculous right now, but for like the majority of my time on YouTube, I was using laptops with integrated graphics. They were not very powerful in the slightest, man. Editing on it was a slog. I remember I had this laptop that would just constantly overheat. The fan would constantly be on, and I would just leave it sitting on the AC vent because it would get so hot that you couldn't even touch it. But that's how I made videos, and it worked. And to this day, you can get a lot of power on the cheap when it comes to CPUs and laptops. Or, you know, even desktops, but then the graphics card thing's kind of expensive, but I still think you can find a decent editing setup if that's all you're doing. And honestly, I don't think I'd be doing this video justice if I didn't end it off with covering something that I've been talking about in a few other videos: game capture devices. If you're wanting to capture gameplay from your video game console to your computer, it's extremely easy, and now it's pretty affordable. You see, not so long ago when you wanted to capture gameplay, you either had to have a friend record your clips for you, or you had to have a lot of money. Game capture devices would run you hundreds of dollars, right? But now you can get game capture devices for 40, 50, 60 bucks. Some of them of some, let's just say, questionable quality. However, it's very, very cheap, and you get the same, if not better, quality out of them than you would with the more expensive devices. I covered this no-name card that I used for a while and just gave to a friend. I covered the UCEC Game Live, Gam Live. Both cards giving me really good quality for the price, and having really relatively no issues with them. Why are you eating my mic, dog? I had these issues where the gameplay would freeze up in OBS, but I'm not blaming the cards for that one because I feel like that's an OBS driver issue. The point I'm trying to make is if you're trying to do like a gaming thing or a streaming gaming thing, it's considerably cheaper now than it was in the not so distant past. And finally, if you're wanting to make YouTube videos, it really just comes down to you and what you want to create. People are going to come for you and your personality, not from your editing team that's producing your videos or the highest quality video out there possible, because there's always going to be somebody out there doing it better. What somebody can't do is replicate what you're creating. I'm simply just showing you some of the cheaper tools you can get in your arsenal to get you started, but ultimately, really just comes down to you, dog. If you want to make content and you got any sort of a creative bone in your body, just get out there and do it. It's pretty much free to create. Nothing's stopping you. Just go do it. Some of the most successful videos on YouTube to this day aren't the ones with a massive budget behind them, but there's multiple examples of people out there just having fun creating content with what they have to work with, and you have no excuse to get out there and do it yourself. So yeah, that being said, I'm gonna try to get this thing together and out to you guys sometime soon. It's been recently the 4th, so happy 4th of July to you guys. Just recently covered the Twisted Metal reboot game. That was a pretty cool video you should check out. If you want to see some of the other stuff in my content, go check it out. It's pretty good stuff in my opinion. That all being said, it's been T with the Sometimes I Drink Tea channel, even though this channel has nothing to do with tea. And hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.
Trifling, dirty, white, racist ass